This is a video walkthrough for Practice 5E. In 1 through 5, we're asked to solve each equation for the specified variable, but in each case, we have fractional expressions. So we're going to start for number 1 by clearing the fractions, or multiplying through by the LCD, which is x times y times z over 1. So I'll multiply each term by x times y times z over 1. Now we can cancel the common factors in numerators and denominators in each multiplication. Cancel x's in the first multiplication, cancel factors of y in the second multiplication, and cancels factors of z in the third. That will leave us with y times z minus x times z equals x times y. Now we have to think about which variable we're going to solve for. We're solving for x, which appears in 2 of the terms. So I'm going to move those terms to the same side of the equation. So if we add xz, then we get yz equals x times z plus x times y. Now what we want to do is factor, and I'm going to factor out the variable that I'm solving for. So factor out x, and we get x times z plus y. And now we can divide both sides by z plus y and cancel common factors on the right side, which gives us x equals y times z over z plus y. And of course your denominator can be y plus z instead of z plus y, since addition can be done in any order. In number 2, since there's a rational expression, we'll begin by multiplying each side of the equation by 3x minus 1. Now we can cancel common factors and do the multiplication on the left side of the equation. So y times 3x minus 1 is 3xy minus y equals, and on the right side of the equation, 3x minus 1's cancel, which leaves us with 2x. Our job now is to solve for x, and there are 2 terms that have the variable x in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 3xy to the other side of the equation by subtracting it, and then we're going to factor out the variable that we're solving for. So negative y is equal to x times 2 minus 3y. And now we can solve for x by dividing. So x is equal to negative y divided by 2 minus 3y. Now I do want to say that there is another acceptable answer, and that would be x is equal to y over negative 2 plus 3y. That's formed by multiplying both numerator and denominator by negative 1. Either answer is acceptable, but if you have a multiple choice answer that you are checking, it's important that you know that those 2 answers are equivalent. In number 3, we'll start by multiplying by the least common denominator, which is 5b plus 7c. We can cancel common factors on the right side and multiply, giving us 5ab plus 7ac is equal to 3bc. Since we're asked to solve for c, I need to look at the terms that involve the variable c. And so I'm going to move the 7ac to the other side of the equation by subtracting it, which would give us 5ab is equal to 3bc minus 7ac. Now we're going to factor the variable that we're solving for, which is c, and then divide by 3b minus 7a, so c is equal to 5ab divided by 3b minus 7a. In 4, we can begin by multiplying by the least common denominator, which is 1 minus y. Now canceling common factors and multiplying, that leaves us with x minus xy is equal to 6y plus 5. We want to solve for the variable y, and there are 2 terms that involve the variable y and 2 terms that do not. So I'm going to add xy to both sides. And subtract 5 from both sides. Now we have all the terms that involve y on one side and all the terms that do not on the other. In the next step, we can factor the variable that we're trying to solve for, which is y, and then divide, and we get y is equal to x minus 5 divided by, and I'll say x plus 6, but 6 plus x is equivalent. In number 5, we'll begin by clearing the fractions or multiplying through by the least common denominator, which is a times b times c. Canceling common factors in each multiplication, we are left with 2bc plus 3ac equals 5ab. We're asked to solve for the variable b, which occurs in 2 of the terms, so I'll move those terms to the same side of the equation by subtracting 2bc. That will give us 3ac is equal to 5ab minus 2bc. Now we want to factor the variable that we want to solve for, which is b. So b times 5a minus 2b, minus 5c, and then divide, which gives us b is equal to 3 times a times c divided by 5a minus 2c.